The Blackwood estate was silent enough to hear the clocks tick. 3 years had passed since the accident that took Elena Blackwood's life, but the air inside the mansion still carried her absence. The curtains were always drawn. The piano in the West Hall stayed locked, and her 7-year-old son, Elias, hadn't spoken a single word since the night she died. His father, Adrian Blackwood, tried everything: speech therapists, child psychologists, private tutors, but nothing reached the boy. Until Dr. Rowan Hale said softly one afternoon, "Maybe you don't need another therapist, Mr. Blackwood. Maybe you need music." So he hired Lila Monroe, a young music therapist with kind eyes and a voice that felt like sunlight through rain. When she arrived at the mansion, guitar case slung over her shoulder, Mrs. Hawthorne, the old housekeeper, looked skeptical. "No one lasts here longer than a week," she warned. Lila smiled gently. "Then I'll make this week count." As she unpacked her guitar, a faint melody drifted through the air. Elias, sitting by the window, turned his head slightly, just enough for Adrian to notice. It was the first time his son had reacted to anything in months. "He heard you," Mrs. Hawthorne whispered, her eyes shining. "He actually heard you." Elias didn't speak, but he listened. Every morning, Lila sat on the floor beside him with her guitar and played gentle notes, sometimes humming nonsense tunes to make him smile. Adrian often watched from the doorway, unseen. Lila's laughter filled corners of the house that had forgotten joy. One afternoon, as clouds gathered, she took Elias to the garden. He tapped the rhythm on his knees while she strummed softly. Then the sky opened up, heavy rain pouring down in seconds. Instead of running for cover, Lila tilted her face to the sky and laughed. "Come on, Elias. Let's sing in the rain." The boy blinked, and for the first time, he moved toward her, stretching out his hand. Together they ran barefoot through puddles, laughing silently, soaked and free. Adrian saw them from his study window, Lila spinning in the storm, his son's face bright with unspoken laughter. Something in his chest loosened, the first crack in a heart he thought was stone. Later, Lila found a small music box in Elias's room. It was broken, but still played faint, trembling notes. When she hummed along, Adrian appeared in the doorway, pale. "Where did you learn that song?" he asked. "Elias hums it in his sleep," she said. "That was his mother's song," Adrian whispered. "She used to sing it every night." The rain kept falling outside, but for the first time it sounded like music. Lila made the mansion feel alive again. She filled mornings with melodies, afternoons with gentle laughter, and evenings with stories about courage and kindness. Elias began to draw again, small pictures of stars, music notes, and a woman in a yellow dress. Adrian, who once avoided the music room, started joining their lessons. He wasn't just the billionaire anymore. He was Dad again. One evening, Lila dusted off the grand piano hidden behind white sheets. Its keys were yellowed, untouched since Elena's death. She hesitated before pressing one, a single, haunting note that echoed through the hall. Adrian stepped closer. "She used to play that when she couldn't sleep." "Then maybe it's time someone plays it again," Lila said softly. They played together that night, piano and guitar weaving through the empty mansion until Elias peeked from the doorway, listening. And when he smiled, Adrian realized how long it had been since he'd seen his son's eyes light up. It happened quietly. One morning, Lila played the same lullaby from the broken music box. Elias froze mid-drawing. His pencil dropped. Tears filled his eyes as he stared at the floor. Then, in a trembling voice, small and rusty from disuse, he whispered, "Stop." Lila's hands froze on the strings. Adrian, who had been standing in the doorway, went completely still. Elias pressed his hands over his ears, shaking his head. "Mom sang that song. Before... His breath hitched. "Before the car went over." Adrian rushed to him, heart pounding. "Son, what are you saying?" Elias looked up, eyes wide and wet. "She told me to sing if I got scared. But I didn't. I couldn't." Lila knelt beside him. "You were just a boy, sweetheart. It's not your fault." The boy's lip trembled. She said Daddy would forget how to smile. Adrian's voice broke. Never again, he promised. Never again. He gathered Elias in his arms, sobbing silently. For the first time in years, the Blackwood mansion echoed with sound, the sound of a father and son finding each other again. That night, Adrian sat alone by the piano, tracing the keys. When Lila approached, he didn't look up. She always said music could heal anything, he murmured. But I couldn't even listen to her favorite song after she died. She'd understand, Lila said gently. Grief doesn't vanish. It changes shape. He looked at her, really looked at her. How did you do it? How did you reach him when no one else could? Lila smiled faintly. My mom used to sing to me when I was little. After she passed, I stopped singing. It took another child's silence to remind me what her songs meant. Adrian's eyes softened. Maybe we both forgot how to listen. They sat in silence for a while, not empty silence, but peaceful. When Elias padded into the room in his pajamas, holding his music box, Lila took it gently, wound it, and placed it on the piano. Together, they hummed along, father, son, and stranger-turned family, until the music box wound down, the last note hanging like a heartbeat in the air. Months passed. The Blackwood mansion no longer felt like a mausoleum. The curtains were open. The piano played daily. Elias spoke more, slowly at first, then with laughter that filled every room. Lila stayed on, officially as his teacher, unofficially as part of their small family. Every morning, she sang the same song that once made him cry. Now he joined in, off-key but happy. One spring evening, as golden light poured through the windows, Adrian joined them at the piano. He played the first few notes, looked at Lila, and smiled. You brought the music back, he said quietly. I didn't, she replied. He did. Elias grinned. We all did. And for the first time in 3 years, Adrian's laughter filled the house, rich, free, and alive. The camera pans out, the melody of the mother's song rising again, now warm and whole. As the screen fades to black, Lila's voice echoes softly. Sometimes, healing doesn't start with words. It starts with a song you thought you'd forgotten.